The budget is obviously a two-faced. If you can say, some of the expectations of the industry has met, especially in terms of electric vehicles, but the larger expectations for the traditional players has remained unanswered. So let's start with what are the hits. If you talk about hits, the top would be EV boost that the finance minister has announced about reduction in GST from 12 to 5% on electric vehicle, while the waiver of custom duty on some electric vehicle elements like charging guns, e-drive, etc. So those are some of those are the things that is going to boost the electric vehicle space. But however, we have to note that electric vehicle is still a minuscule part of the automotive industry, while the larger automotive industry, which remains on traditional ICE engine, that continue to suffer, and there has not been any booster for them. Second, booster that you can say is a corporate tax that the government has proposed to increase the cover of 25% corporate tax to up to 400 crore. That is definitely going to give advantage to the large number of component makers. I must say that in this bracket, I think about 80% of the 70 to 80% tier 2 tier 3 component makers will be benefited from this. Apart from that, there has been further tax advantage being given to MSME. That will also be a very good booster for the component makers. Apart from that, if we have to say corporate tax, it may help some of the dealerships also, those who are running as a corporate and not a family owned business. However, largely dealerships are family owned business. The other advantage that we see is a major boost to rural infrastructure that will lead to demand for commercial vehicle and also last mile connectivity, while integrated mobility thrust will also enhance last mile connectivity vehicles demand to go up. If you talk about misses, the top of it is that the two-wheeler industry especially was looking at a reduction in the GST, which and two-wheeler sales has been quite down, and huge inventory has been piled up. These automobiles continue to remain under sin goods, and they attract 28% of GST. Apart from that, they also have compensation tax of about 0 to 22%, almost equal to the sin goods. That was an expectation from the industry that it should be relooked at, but we didn't see an announcement in this direction as well. Apart from that, the biggest I think dampener would be additional 2 rupees increase per liter on diesel and petrol. Already diesel and petrol is highly taxed when it comes to excise duty. The government, the finance minister in this budget has announced that rupee 1 will be added on per liter petrol as a excise duty. Also, rupee 1 will be added as road and infrastructure cess on both petrol and diesel. So 2 rupees on each petrol and diesel a liter, and that's going to have a larger impact in terms of increasing freight, and all that will lead to increase in inflation also. So those are some misses. Apart from that, if you talk about, we were talking about there should be something to increase the liquidity at the hands of middle class, who are the biggest spenders, and their sentiment has been very down. They were not buying cars. So a measure to increase the liquidity, cash in the hands of salary and earner, would have helped in terms of increasing the demand of automobiles, which doesn't seems to have come out in this budget. That is another big miss that we see.